Okay, so just for the first examples of algebraic fractions, it's just the really simple simplifying ones. So for the first one, A, remember, we look to see what we can do with the numbers. So 12 divided by 18 we can't do, but 6 goes into both of them. So 6 goes into 12 twice and into 18 3 times. So we would have 2x on 3 as our final answer. With B, it's already factorised and everything for us, so what we just need to do is look to see if we can cancel anything from the top and the bottom. So you'll notice that there's x take 4 on the top and x take 4 on the bottom. And because it's on the top and the bottom, if we do x take 4 divided by x take 4, we just get 1. So our answer would then end up as x plus 2 over x plus 5. Okay, so when we do multiplying, if we've got two fractions like this, remember we first look to see if we can factorise anything on the top. So you'll notice here with the 5p plus 2, we can't take anything out because if we take the 5 out, it doesn't work. If we take the 2 out, it doesn't work. And there is nothing that goes into 5 and 2. And it's the same with this side here. The 2 and the 7 have nothing in common, so we can't do anything. So instead, all we have to do is multiply 5p plus 2 by 2p plus 7. And we do that by putting the brackets together. And then we also do 3 times 8 to get 24. Once we've got to that point, we use FOIL, okay? Remember, first outside, inside, last, to expand those two brackets. So we do 5p times 2p, which is 10p squared, 5p times 7, which is 35p, 2 times 2p, which is 4p, and then 2 times 7, which is 14, all over 24. Once we've done that, we get our answer by collecting the middle. So we get 10p squared, that just stays as it is, plus 39p plus 14, all over 24. All I did there was looked at these two things here. They're the same, and I added them together to get the 39 over here. And that's our final answer, 10p squared plus 39p plus 14 over 24. Okay, with example 2b, I've got here, we're doing a division. So the first thing we have to do is flip the second fraction upside down. So we leave the first one as it is. We flip the second one upside down, and we change the sign in the middle to a multiply. After that, I then look to see if I can factorise anything on the top. So you'll notice that I can't factorise with anything with the 3p plus 2. So I'm just going to leave that one. But I can take a common factor of 3 out of 6p plus 9. So if I put the 3 here, and it becomes bracket, let me just fix that, 3 brackets 2p plus 3, all over 2. Now I can look diagonally and notice that I can cross out this 3 with this 3 here, because it just ends up being 3 divided by 3, which is 1. Okay, so we can write the little ones there if you want to. So then we just end up with 3p plus 2 times 2p plus 3, all over 2. And again, I use FOIL to expand it, so I end up with 6p squared. And then what I'm going to do is just collect the middle. So I do 3p times 3, which is 9p. I'm just going to write that there for you. And then 2 times 2p, which is 4p. And then we add those together, so we get 13p. And then last is 2 times 3, so it's going to be plus 6 on the end, all over 2. And that's our final answer. So just remember, with adding and subtracting fractions, just like we do with normal fractions, we have to have the same denominator on the bottom before we can do anything. So we need to find the lowest common denominator. And for this question, we look at the 5 and we go, okay, first number 5 goes into is 5. Does 2 go into 5? No. The next number that 5 goes into is 10. Does 2 go into 10? Yes. So our lowest common denominator is 10. So what I do is write both of these fractions over 10. And then I have to work out what did I do to the 5 to get to 10. I doubled it, so I did times 2 here. If I do times 2 to the bottom of a fraction, I have to do the same to the top. And that's where we write it in a bracket, like so. So we remember to multiply the whole way through. Then we look at the second fraction, and we know that we did times 5 to get from 2 to 10. So I have to do the same to the top. So again, the 5 comes out the front, and we get 2a take 3. Now, the next step would mean I have to expand the brackets because I can't possibly do anything further yet because I need to expand the brackets first. So I get 2a plus 8, and then I'm just going to write it all together, then plus 10a, because 5 times 2 is 10, and then 5 times negative 3 is 15, and then I'm going to write it all over the same denominator. So then we just collect the like terms. So 2a plus 10a is 12a, and 8 take 15 is negative 7, so it takes 7, all over 10, and that's our final answer. Okay, so for the subtraction one, again, we have to have a lowest common denominator. So we look at the 8. The first number that 8 goes into is 8. Does 4 go into 8 evenly? Yes. So we put an 8 here, and then we write both of these fractions as something out of 8. Now, if we have a look at this second fraction here, do I actually need to multiply that? Because it was already over 8, so I just leave it as b take 4. What did I do to the 4 on the first fraction? I multiplied by 2, so remember I need to multiply the top by 2, and I put it in a bracket like so. Then the next step would be to expand it out. Now I'm going to do this a bit differently, and you'll see what happens. So 2 times b is 2b, and 2 times 3 is 6. Then I actually have to pretend, I'm going to draw it in red, that there's a little 1 here, because that's what there normally is. There is a little 1 outside, because remember 1 doesn't change anything. And then I have to look at the fact I'm doing negative 1 times b, so that's take b. And then it's negative 1 times negative 4, so it's going to be plus 4 on the end, all over 8. Then I collect the like terms. 2b take b is b. 6 plus 4 is 10, so it's b add 10, all over 8. So remember, just to recap there, I just put these brackets around, okay, because that way I know that there's a 1 here, and I have to treat it as negative 1 times b, and then negative 1 times negative 4 to get this plus here. Okay, it does change the answer, and you will make a mistake if you don't put those brackets in there. All right, you don't have to draw them in. Some of you will be able to do it without it. Okay, the last little bit on algebraic fractions is looking at when there is an algebraic denominator. So normally if we had something like 1/5 add 1/4, to find the lowest common denominator, we could just do 5 times 4, which would give us 20. Okay, so it's the same thing for when we do algebraic fractions. Our lowest common denominator here is actually x plus 2 and x take 9. Now just remember, it doesn't matter if we write it as the other way around, like x take 9 first, they're both correct. I'm just going to fix that x there. Then what we do is we write both of these things over x plus 2, x take 9. Now I have to look and see, what did I do? What did I multiply x plus 2 by? So you'll notice that, see here, there's x plus 2 and x plus 2. Okay, we've also got an x plus 9, so that, x take 9. That's why we have to put x take 9 here. And then you'll notice here, we've got x take 9 and x take 9, but we don't have an x plus 2, so we have to do 3x plus 2. Then it's just as simple as doing the other ones. You're just rewriting the denominator as this, x plus 2, x take 9. And we expand the bracket, so 5x take 45 plus 3x plus 6. Again, I've just written it all over the same. To get our final answer, we add them, so we get 8x, and then negative 45 plus 6 is negative 39, and we just leave this denominator like so. And hopefully that's enough examples just to get you going. And if you've got any questions, just come and see me in class.